women swim? The Muslim man, he can swim. I challenge you to say a Muslim woman, she can swim.
I don't know about Christian women, but the Muslim woman is not a dolphin, and the ocean is not her natural environment to assume she is oppressed if she can't swim. But I accept your pathetic challenge. Man or woman in Islam, they cannot swim, as like how the Christian bikini girls swim naked on the beach, or in public pools, while every man is watching, or even can touch. And yes, Muslim man or woman, they can swim when men are separated from women. And also, Muslims have jealousy unlike Christians.
So, the Muslim women have no oppression in Islam. The Muslim man can beat his wife. Surah 4 verse 34. Can the Muslim woman beat her husband if he didn't listen to her? You see, Islam is against oppression. So the women, she have to be contained inside a garbage bag. The women, she can get beating. Not only that. The man is a full witness in the court. In the court of Islam, women is allowed only to be witness when there is no men, and they are not equal to man. 2 women equal to 1 man.
Does Mr. Handsome have anything to say about this?
Of course I have. Mr. Burger reminds me of how Satan used Eve to misguide Adam. In Islam, the man is responsible to get a house and food and clothes for his wife. Why the woman is not responsible about them? In Islam, the man is responsible to spend money on his wife even after he divorce her until she get another husband. Why the woman don't spend money on the man if she divorce him? The man must struggle to preach to Islam. Why the woman don't have to? The woman have breasts. Why the man don't have the same? The woman can give birth. Why the man can't? Blah blah blah. The woman and the man, black or white, poor or rich, all are equal in front of Allah. Being different doesn't mean they are not equal. Looks like Mr. Burger have obtained his education about Islam from the Vatican. I am sure the Pope and his priests have took a good care of you, and educated you very deeply. Very, very deeply.
And you are talking about Islam being fair to women? And before I forget, I would like to ask you, Your Majesty, who claim to be scholar, what a joker you are.
Is he calling me the Joker? I want to assume yes, it is me, and also I want to assume he is right. Then let me tell the crowd my latest funniest joke. Good evening everyone. Mr. Burger have proved today that he is the greatest brilliant Christian scholar on earth.
What?
Shut up. If when you was doing all your best to pretend to be sane person, all what we heard from you is garbage just as you, then what shall we expect to hear from you? After you started showing us your insanity. We do not need to hear any more of your garbage. This time you listen to my theory about you, and about the ideology you represent. The Muslim women did not complain to Christians about oppression, so why Mr. Burger and his pathetic ideology have put themselves lawyers to the Muslim women? The answer, it is not the Muslim women what they are trying to defend here, it is the adulterer Christian women way of life what Mr. Burger and his ideology trying to defend. Mr. Burger and his pathetic ideology are worried supposedly about the Muslim women, because it is okay for them to make from the Christian woman a whore for their own entertainment. Our women does not need a pig like you to speak for them. They can speak for themselves. Let us listen directly to them, and see what is their opinion about the pathetic oppression theory your ideology is trying to enforce. The interviews you will watch now are not to prove Islam doesn't oppress women. It is to prove the unbelievable stupidity of Nasty Burger and everyone such as him. In fact, what they say about Islam only reflects their jealousy and anger from Islam. Islam is not standing as a suspect in the Burgers' court, so we need to defend it. The Burgers' society from the nose to the toes is guilty with whoredom and adultery. The Hamburgers' society are standing guilty in the court of Islam. Let them defend that, if they can. And by the way, some of those women you will see in this interview are women who they converted to Islam from Christianity and Jewish.
Well, before I became a Muslim, like most Western women, I would have casual relationships, boyfriends. You could never go to a party on your own. There was always a pressure to have a partner with you. And this, even in the teen magazines, children are taught that they've got to have a boyfriend. If they don't have a boyfriend, they'll be inadequate. And when I came to Islam, the alcohol went, the casual relationships went, and from the moment that, that's all cleaned out of my life, I haven't sat waiting one night watching the phone begging it to ring. I haven't been stood up, I haven't had unnecessary rows, I haven't had to be at anyone's beck and call, and I've found real independence. And not only does Islam teach you to respect others, but it also has taught me to respect myself. And that in itself is liberating. Being judged on your mind and not the length of your skirt is fantastic.
Many Muslim women see their mode of dress as a form of freedom from our unrelenting obsession with the female body.
When I first started wearing hijab, it was a real relief. It was a real relief because I'd gone through the traumatic teenage years, very self-conscious about my body, very self-conscious about being fat. In fact, when I was in year 11 and 12, I was sort of borderline anorexic. I never quite made it, but, I tried.
I started to get into wearing shorter dresses because obviously you do get noticed more by men. I mean, if you wear shorter things, and we don't talk about that between women, but it's known that if you go to a club or whatnot, or even in the street, men tend to notice you a lot more if you'd wear like a dress as opposed to a pair of jeans. And Islam, you sort of kind of get repulsed with that sort of idea. You sort of think, well, I want a man to see me for who I am as a person, not necessarily for, what I'm projecting on the outside.
Sometimes my friends, I remember, would try to adjust me and dress me, and it was just so humiliating to stand there and have someone try to dress you and make you look more fashionable. So when I started wearing hijab, it was like, thank God.
My life began to focus, and at that point I became empowered because now I wasn't waking up in the morning and worrying about what shade of eyeshadow I was going to wear. I woke up and I was more with myself and more with Allah.
And say to the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not display their charms except for what normally appears of them, and they should draw their head cover over their bosoms. A Muslim woman's dress is often called hijab, the Arabic word for screen or barrier. Muslim women who wear the hijab often describe it as a means of being recognized for who they really are.
So I remember the first day I put it on, and people that I didn't even know would come up to me and say salam and peace, and they would, greet me, and it was just amazing because it creates this sort of unity. Everyone knows that you are Muslim, and they greet you based on that, and that's something that I found to be very wonderful. Until this day, people come up to me and they say salam.
It was only after I started wearing hijab that I realized how relevant it was. That no matter how much I felt that I was being serious or that I was taken seriously, it really wasn't the same as my experience after I wore hijab. After I wore hijab, many types of inappropriate conversation that I didn't welcome stopped. They simply, people didn't say those kind of things to me anymore.
The hijab and the women who wear it remain largely misunderstood. Stereotypes of Muslim women are constantly reinforced by the media.
It's like a mantra over and over and over again, and there's so little research done by journalists, or if the research is done, it is very clearly non-sympathetic. It is not taken with the interest of trying to sort of put yourself in the other person's shoes, trying to be objective. It's there to reinforce this notion that we, I say that in quotes, as Western American or Canadian women are much more liberated than these poor, oppressed Muslims.
I think we have watched what's supposed to be more than enough to see the stupidity of Mr. Berger, but even though I am sure Mr. Berger still see himself as the hero who have accomplished mission impossible to prove Islam oppresses women. It's because he look at Islam through his own sunglasses. His heart is blind just as his brain. But I still would like to thank Mr. Berger for being with us today to entertain our viewers. Not only that, just before a minute ago, we heard that the Vatican was impressed from your theory, and to show their appreciation to you, they decided to add you to the Vatican group of gods. And before I forget, I want to tell you, Your Majesty, you know, who claimed to be Christian. What a garbage you are. Your limo have arrived. Let's everyone cheer Mr. Berger for accomplishing the mission impossible. Dear respectful viewers, if you have seen anything in this video that was offensive or inappropriate to you, then please accept our apology. We used only what we thought is very necessary to show the idea. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and mercy of Allah be upon you.